And live. Yeah, live. How you doing? Oh man, I love that. I love it when it says going live, going live, going live. If you hadn't figured out by now, I actually do my videos now through YouTube Live because I can go live through YouTube. And so instead of seeing it on the blog like you're actually doing, I'm actually broadcasting like a live podcast on YouTube. And then when I end the stream, it actually saves it, and I just copy the link over into my blog, the blog you're reading now, where you're actually seeing this video. And what that does is it means I don't have to keep the video on my computer anymore, which means I don't take up space. And it's just a matter of like, as soon as I'm done with the video, I put it out on a blog, and there you go. You know, it's actually really simple. It's one of the things that I like that YouTube did. You used to have to go through a third-party app to be able to get a live stream out through YouTube, and it was just a total pain in the ass. And then a few months back, probably close, I don't know, I have to go back and check and take a look at my live broadcast, but the minute they started putting that out there, I was like, I'm on this, you know. It has made my life a lot easier because I would usually spend like 40 minutes recording the video and then like another 40 minutes uploading it to YouTube so I could get the link so that I could use it, you know. And it's like, got better things to do with my time. So how you doing? Yeah, we know who everyone is by now. I don't need to introduce myself. So the world of whatever, Jesus. This has been a weird week. Kind of weird in a good way. Kind of weird in an interesting way. I don't know. There's just been I want to say there's a lot going on, but there really hasn't been. But there has been. You know, there really has. Really has been kind of busy. It was pointed out to me yesterday by Ren. Hi, Ren. I hope you're watching this video. Rennie. That I haven't been blogging. Well, yeah, I haven't. If you've noticed, the only blog I've really been getting out is my Saturday video. And it's just like, I haven't really been doing any writing. That's been pretty obvious. It's been going on for about a month now. I just got to the point where I was like, I just don't feel like writing. You know, I just was dealing with a lot of interpersonal shit, and writing about stuff was not in the cards. So I kind of took a sabbatical from that. I did get back into it. When did I have my car? I had my car worked on Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday morning, I had my car worked on, and I actually wrote the next scene after the lake house, which was Annie and her mom talking about stuff. Actually, it's Christmas Eve now. And I knew it was going to be a pretty simple scene. It ended up running, I think, like about 700 words. I'd have to look. I'm not going to bring it up right now. But it ended up running close to 700 words. And I probably wrote it in about 45 minutes, you know. So it was a nice little jump back into it. I haven't done any writing since then, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. And one of the things I actually started thinking on last night was I've begun actually in my head plotting out the D-Level novel into more detail. Yeah, go figure. Just what I need to do. It's a nice little exercise. I have most of the information written down in, hold on. Have it written down in Aeon Timeline. And yeah, I actually started going through that. I have one thing that I actually changed up. Let's just say that Annie and Carrie are gonna go off on a few Guardian adventures during their D levels. Couple actually, and one of them I changed up. It's I'm not gonna go into any detail on it. I'm not even gonna tell you about it. Let's just say it's gonna be an all-girl excursion from hell. That's really all I'm going to say. I mean, it is just going to be hell. I actually began working on that part probably about a year ago, and just been knocking some shit in the dirt. Really have. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I've started doing that. I've been started thinking more about what the kids are doing. It's funny because as the novels progress along, they're getting further and further away from schoolwork and more towards what exactly are you going to do once you get out of school? Which we know what they're going to do when they get out of school. The D-level novel, if and when I start writing it, is actually a pretty big departure because I think, as I've already explained, like the first third of the book is really about them going on holiday together. That's actually one of the things that will happen is, for the first time, we'll get a detailed look at their summer holiday, and they end up going off on a summer holiday together. Yeah. So we won't actually get to Salem until maybe, 50 or 60,000 words, maybe more into the novel. I really don't anticipate. And we started to see that a little bit more because in the Sea Level novel at the beginning, there was a lot more going on during the summer. And it's been going that way. So the D-level novel is really going to be a big departure in the sense that you'll see what they're doing in the summer, which is basically they're going to be together for most of the summer, actually. I won't explain how that happens, but it does happen. They are together for most of the summer. And then they go back to school. And then something interesting happens to Carrie at school. And then they're getting the families more involved. There's going to be a lot of more stuff that's actually happening outside of school. There will be a couple of Guardian adventures. Yeah, really. A couple of Guardian adventures. And one of them will take place in like the least expected area of the world. And you'll actually get kind of a teaser of that in the Sea Level novel, but I'm not going to say what it is. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah, I have been thinking. I haven't been doing a lot of writing, but I have been thinking. One of the things I've also been thinking about, and this may help get my ass back into writing more, is I've actually thought about setting up a Patreon. What I'm going to do with it, I don't know. But, I'm trying to look at a way of like generating some cash flow. As in like, by this time next month, I probably won't have any. I'll have my income coming in to at least, pay for the apartment. But after that, I don't know. It's been suggested I sell drugs. That might actually work at some point. I don't think so. I'm not much of a drug dealer. Heisenberg, I'm not. Yeah, I've actually been thinking about setting up a Patreon, and I guess the thing to do would be like to pull out some of my old stories and rework them and rewrite them and make them available. Like if you're willing to donate $2 $2 a month to me, I'll start putting them together and serializing them and shit like that. I really don't know. I guess it kind of works for. It's kind of like the Andy Weir, I think, the Andy Weir thing, where he published The Martian first on his blog and then got asked if he would actually put a novel together, put it all together in novel form. Because what he would do is he would actually publish the entire chapter at one time. So there would be, a space and time between when one chapter got published and the other got published. And of course, people said, hey, could you just put this together in an ebook? That would be really great. So he did, and he tried to put it on Amazon for free. Amazon does not allow the distribution of free ebooks. So you have to charge a minimum price for a novel, and he charged 99 cents. Well, in the first month, he sold 5,000 novels. And as they say, the rest is pretty much history, and he's doing pretty well for himself these days. The guy's only released 2 novels, and already, one became a pretty big movie, and the other, I think, has been optioned. So, and he's working on a 3rd. That's what all of us, all of us in the writing community, we kind of dream of shit like that. So, I know there are a couple of artists that I follow who have patrons. I haven't been able to contribute anything to them because, money. And I just started thinking about that, and it's like, well, that would be something to get you off your ass and actually have to write, because if you're like promising, a chapter every 2 weeks or something like that, you have to deliver, otherwise your patrons are going to go. So I don't know. I'm considering it. I'm seriously considering it. Maybe releasing some of my work through Patreon, my crap work. I would have to actually sit down and edit the hell out of it. That would be one of the things, would be to, I guess, start sending out edited copies of like chapters going all the way back to the first novel and making certain that everything is, fine and dandy, and, I don't know, releasing videos talking about editing process and things like that. I don't know what I would do. I have not actually looked into it that much, but I'm starting to consider it. So who knows? Maybe, maybe that's the way to go. It's Patreon. Hey, we'll find out. I'll consider it. The thing you have to do with Patreon is you actually have to have people who are interested at first. I know some authors have actually, after they've been writing for a long time, they've actually put up patrons and said, hey, you want to see what's coming. I know, several people have done that I have a Patreon, I produce artwork. If you're in my Patreon, you'll get my next special thing. So we'll see. It's a consideration. Because I'm not really good at begging for money. And to me, it kind of seems like, I understand some people, it actually is the way they generate their income. One of the artists I follow on Facebook, she's a trans artist who does comics. And that's like how she pays her rent, is through her Patreon. Really, that's what I read, that is that she actually pays her rent through her Patreon. She makes enough money through that she's not homeless. So that's something right there. Yeah. The other stuff. What other stuff? I finished, I've been watching movies. Yesterday I went and saw BlacKkKlansman, which is an excellent film. I'm kind of like up and down about Spike Lee films. When Spike is on, he is on. I mean, he really is. And when he's off, whatever he was working on jumped the rails, and it's over in the next country right now. Yeah, he's hit and miss with me, but he hit with this one. And I knew the story behind the movie because, of all places, I first read about it on crack.com, where it was about a black dude who actually did infiltrate a local chapter of the Colorado KKK. Seriously. And they kind of show how they did it. This was back in the 70s. So it was a good film. I liked it a lot. It will piss you off for all the right reasons, because freaking Nazis have not gone away, and Spike made that pretty obvious at the end of the film. I mean, everybody in the movie theater was like, you could tell they were like clenching their jaws tight by what was happening at the end of the movie. So I would recommend it. I highly recommend it. I do. It's a funny film. It's a good film. It's a serious ass film. It is a black film. It is. Yeah. You will like it. I liked it. Like I said, Spike is hit and miss with me. He hit on this one. I also finished up the Amazon series, The Man in the High Castle. Speaking of Nazis. I've read the book and the TV show. I read the book back in like the 60s and 70s, and the TV show made several departures. Wow, there's an unusual concept. Philip K. Dick's material having, we're just going to go away from the source material. We'll call it The Man in the High Castle, but we'll kind of like zip over here and not actually be faithful to the material. They were kind of not. A lot of characters went through different changes, and if you know anything about the TV show, you'll know that they're kind of doing something that Philip K. Dick was interested in, but didn't do it in Man in the High Castle. So they're kind of like digging into some of his other work. The show really gets you conflicted. Seriously, because, you have half of America controlled by the Nazis. I mean, literally, the freaking Nazis won World War II. So did the Japanese. So, like, the West Coast is all controlled by Imperial Japan. The East Coast and Midwest is all controlled by the Third Reich. There's a DMZ neutral zone in what is basically the Rocky Mountains, where it's like still the 1940s, even though it's the 1960s. And the way they ended off the second season, you find yourself aligning with the head of the Japanese secret police and a former American soldier who is now a Gruppenführer, which is, back in the Third Reich, Gruppenführer, that was pretty significant rank, who is trying to stop a war between Germany and Japan. Because let's face it, the Germans decided at one point, hey, you know what? We were only allies with the Japanese to get what we wanted. But, let's face it, they're all a bunch of freaking mongrel dogs. So we're going to exterminate them. And it's really what ends up happening. That's what they're actually saying at the end of the film, at the end of the second season, is like, the Nazis are just going to exterminate the Japanese, because let's face it, they're not the master race. We are. And, we're just going to wipe them out. And the Germans do have what they call the Heisenberg device. No, it does not deliver high quality pure meth. Not that Heisenberg. We're talking about Werner Heisenberg, where Walter White actually got the name. And the Heisenberg device is actually an A-bomb. And in the TV show, they nuked Washington, D.C. That was the opening salvo to the invasion of America. So they're showing all this planning with the new Reichsfuhrer, because Hitler died. And they tried to pass it off as he was poisoned by the Japanese. So Hitler died, and they had another guy who took over. And you'd found out earlier that there had been like this conspiracy to get rid of Hitler because, well, Hitler didn't want to go to war with the Japanese. He didn't see any point to it. These other guys are like, we want to wipe them out because they're not the master race. So at the end of the second season, you find yourself aligning with this Nazi Gruppenführer who used to be an American soldier who is working with Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, to stop the war. And you're kind of going, gee, I hope these guys do stop the war because I don't want to see this war go down. And then another part of you, if you know your World War II history like me, is going, but I'm having to cheer on Heinrich. I'm having to cheer on the guy who, gave the okay on Auschwitz, gave the okay on Dachau. It's conflicting as fuck because you're like, yeah, I don't want to see the Nazis blow up the world, but at the same time, Himmler's the guy you got to root for. Oh man, you're just like, oh my God, you're rooting for Nazis, It is really conflicting in the sense that you're having to root for a historical dude who was a mass murderer, who signed off on mass murder. And you can say, well, yeah, he never actually pulled the switch himself. Neither did Charlie Manson. Okay? Charlie never went in and killed any of the Tate LaBiancas. He just gave the orders. And, Himmler's the same way. And you're just like, after it was all done, I'm like, but I'm rooting for Heinrich Himmler. This is not right. This is what they're doing. It's not right. And you find that the American resistance people who you should be rooting for are really just a bunch of assholes. They are. There's like only a few of them that are any good. And the rest of them are just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Don't you realize these people are trying to stop a war? No, you're going to kill them, Yeah, you do. You find yourself rooting against the American resistance because you find out they're just assholes. They're just killing for the fuck of it, And, you have to root for Heinrich Himmler. And boy, did I, after I got done with that, I was like, oh, man. I don't know. What the hell did I just do? It's a weird feeling. It's a great show, great production. If you know your World War II history, man, it messes with you. But at the same time, you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? I can't believe I just did this. Oh God. Yeah. And all you see in Nazi America are white people. I mean, seriously. And we know why. Because Nazis. Yeah. We know what Nazis do. And they do allude, there's actually a couple of instances where they allude to the fact that there are extermination camps in the United States. One in Cincinnati and somewhere I think it was in the Midwest, where they're really upfront about the fact that, if you're like feeble or mentally ill or you have a degenerative disease, they just throw you in the ovens. That's it. Nazis. The Japanese are not much better. No, I'm not going to go. The Japanese are not much better. That's all I'm going to say. They at least allow like black people and Mexicans to live in their world, but they don't have a problem with rounding up, 50 people off the street and just shooting them to make an example. The Kempeitai did not play. Let's just put it that way. They did not fuck around. It's like for every Japanese soldier you kill, we'll kill 50 of your people and just leave the fucking bodies in the street. Yeah, they did not play. So but I would still recommend the TV show. Man. Philip K. Dick move right there. You know, that's the joke. You know, convincing a woman that she's doing something, you know, wrong when she isn't, that's called gaslighting. And it's bad. It's a dick move. But convincing a woman that she's actually an artificial person called a replicant, and you eventually hunt her down and kill her, that's a Philip K. Dick move. And Man in the High Castle, that is a total Philip K. Dick move from start to finish, but still, watch it. I loved it. I actually did, even though I'm conflicted. Oh, man. Yeah, it's weird. Nazis. What are you going to do? Nazis. Yeah. So, Derby. Yeah. This was another big Derby week for me. Yeah. You know, I can't really remember much of Monday night practice. I really can't. I'm sitting there trying to remember Monday night, and I don't remember much. But I know we did a lot of shit. Let's just put it that way. We did a lot of shit. And we had a big recruitment night on Tuesday night. And I have a new Derby sister. She is my charge. I have to take care of her. She actually, it's funny. She actually knew me through Facebook to begin with. We had met through another mutual friend. And she came out to our booth at Pride. And she's like, oh, man, you know, I read you on Facebook. And I'm like, you know, oh, I'm living vivaciously through you and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to do roller derby. And I was like, well, I like to use the line from Whip It. Here you go. Here's your chance. Come on out, put on a pair of skates, be your own hero. And she did. We actually had lunch like the week before the recruitment because she wanted to know exactly what the team was like. And I told her, we're not a bunch of mean girls. Nobody's going to laugh at your ass if you fall. And in fact, now that she's come out and not only did recruitment night, but she did a Wednesday night practice with us. And she was with the other freshies. And she remarked, because we met for lunch Thursday, and she was remarking about just how fantastic it was. The coaching was there helping her. Everybody was helping her. She took a bad fall, and the minute it happened, the coach was over and was like, are you okay? Did you hit your head? You know, are you all right? Fortunately, she was a bit athletic. So she knows how to trust her body, but I've been helping her out saying, you need to get gear, you need to get skates, you know, the stuff you're trying to do, you're going to find out on rentals. It blows. You cannot do derby on rentals. Although I understand people have done derby on rentals. So anyway, that's where we're at. Today, I'm actually going to go clean a park. Yeah, we have a park. My league has a park that we're responsible for. So we're going to go clean that park today. Yeah, we have 4 cleanup dates that we have to do. You have to do 4 cleanup dates in a year. So we're like squeezing all of our cleanup dates into the end of the year here. I guess we got one. I think there's one in October is the next one after this, but we're all going out. It was raining yesterday, so it's going to be kind of soggy today. Probably humid as a bitch. But yeah, we're going out to clean the park. Also today I have my first bride's bachelorette party to go to. First time for me. 2 of my teammates are actually getting married. Yeah, they met at recruitment night together, and just, you know, that's it. You know, so. The last 2 bouts of the year, they'll be playing as a married couple. Yeah. That's how it happens in roller derby, you know. You can actually play with your wife. So there you go. Boom. I Wednesday we did like full scrimmaging, and I jammed once. Did a little bit better than I did before. I still have not gotten through to do like lead jammer or anything like that. And I still have not scored points. So I have decided next time we scrimmage, I need to do it at least twice, not just once. I need to do it at least twice and start working on all those moves that I've been learning to see if I can get through the pack. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to do it. Even one of my teammates, she told me after I got done, I said, I need like 3 jams to rest because I was kind of winded. And she goes, you don't look as if you're struggling out there like you used to. And I said, well, that's good. Thank you. You know, I'm not, but I'm still not like quick enough, fast enough to get through the pack. Which brings me up to Monday night. I just remembered I had to do my 27.5. Yeah, that thing. Monday night, there's like 2 of us that got to get it, you know. And one went out, and she fell 3 times. One of my teammates who's been trying to do it, she's like pushing herself so hard that when she's going into the turn, she's slipping and sliding, and she's, falling. And she fell 3 times and still had a 520. Which means if she hadn't fallen, she probably would have got her 27.5. I mean, she's that fast. I'm getting there. But my problem is by the end of the night, I'm usually half dead. Especially we were doing like suicides, which is you start at one end of the long end of the rink, you know, and you run all the way to the end and you come back and you're skating hard. And so my legs were dead and shit like that. I was tired. I said, do it. I said, okay. You know, when they called my name over, I put my wrist guards on, and because I'd been doing strength work, and I went out and got on the line, and we took off. And I just started dying right off. I mean, I felt like, oh my God, I am dying. You know, I am. And the whole time, I've got this going into my head, going, oh my God, this is just, it's horrible. It's painful. I just kept skating as much as I could. I was coasting through the turns like a son of a bitch, you know, because I could not do a crossover. My legs were that weak that I couldn't cross over. I was really afraid if I crossed over, I was going to go down. And in my head, there was like halfway through, but I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be glad if I do this in 6 minutes. I really felt as if I was just crawling around the track. I really did. It was horrible. To me, it was like one of the worst 27.5s I've ever done. And when I got done, I had told Ida, my coach, she said, how do you want this? Do you want me to tell you when you got a minute left? I says, no, tell me when I hit 25 laps. And then that's it, 25, 26, 27. So she did that. I heard 25, 26. And when I heard 27, I was just like, oh, and I just coasted around and collapsed in the middle of the track. Not the middle of the track, but I came to the center within the track and collapsed. And I laid on my back because I'm like gasping for air. And then I hear Ida go, 525. I look up and back like that. I go, are you shitting me? Seriously, I did. I was actually shocked. And she said 525. And I said, are you shitting me? That crap was 525? I was shocked. I was like, no, couldn't be. I thought it was going to be like between 5:50 and 6 minutes. I really did. I really thought that it was just shit. And I was shocked as hell. I could not believe that as crappy as my skating was, and it was, I mean, if I had video of it, I would show it to you because it was just horrendous. I felt like, my form sucked. I couldn't cross over. really about all I was doing was trying to push as hard as I could on the straights. And apparently that's what saved me. And even she said, you were doing good up until the last 7 laps. It's like, I had absolutely no idea, because really, I'm not good at judging how fast I go out there. Other members of my team, a couple, have actually said the same thing too, is that it's hard to judge your speed. And seriously, I thought I was crawling. It really, to me, felt like I was crawling. I mean, I just was not putting any speed behind what I was doing. So 520, and Ida even told me, she says, you did skate a 25.5. Officially, you did an official 25.5. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I really could not believe it. It shocked the shit out of me. It did. It shocked me. Because that's like literally my best official time is 5:25. It came up from 5:27. And when I did my 5:27s both times, I was in a hell of a lot better shape. I did not have nearly the same leg fatigue, and I was in a lot better shape, and I thought I'd skated a lot better. So, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I must be getting faster if I was sitting there thinking that I was going that slow. If I'm thinking now that a 5:25 was slow, I must be getting faster. It did. It shocked me. I think Ida was a little shocked when I was like, are you shitting me? Because I could not believe it. I really couldn't. I was, even the next day, I was like waking up going, wow, I can't believe I did that. Which means if I hadn't been tired, if I hadn't been exhausted, or if I'd been doing my crossovers, I probably would have pulled like a 5:15 or maybe a 5:12 or maybe even a 5:10. So, that's that little bit of positive reinforcement to get you going. And you're like, yeah, I can actually do this. It's just a matter of, I got to put all the shit together. But still, I wish I did have video of that. I do. It was ugly. I was just like, man, that was like the worst fucking 27.5 I've ever skated. It was just horrible. It was ugly. I'm still kind of lost in scrimmaging. I had that Wednesday night. I got kind of like trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing. And I even asked Ariel after it was all over. I said, is it unusual to feel like you're completely lost when you're out there? She goes, you're just, you're really, really, really now just getting into the real thing. She goes, yeah, don't worry about it. You'll get it. And that brought up something else that I actually brought up to Ariel on Tuesday night, because after we do recruitment night, we go out and we take some of the, if any of the freshies, the new recruits want to come with us, they come with us, and they did, and they sat with us. And we were talking. And it was something I thought about on Monday night, because we were doing hitting, and let me see if I can show you. Yeah, see, I got a nice derby kiss from Monday night from hitting. Yeah. And one of the things that I did pointed out, because I'd said last week that I had asked to play in a scrimmage, open scrimmage, and I had been denied. And I said, okay, fine. And one of the things that Ida had pointed out is that in a scrimmage, when I take a hit, I tend to stagger and I'm reaching out and grabbing for people, which is, a no-no. You don't want to do that, because if you're going down, you don't want to grab onto your teammate and yank their ass down too, or grab onto two teammates and yank them down. If you go down, you go down. Just go down by yourself, and then get small, which was something I did Wednesday night. I got hit down a couple of times. And in one of them, I got hit into the refs, which is a scary thing because you're not supposed to hit a ref. And the minute I got down, I just went like that. I got into turtle. I went small, went to turtle, waited till everything settled down around me, then got up, after like a couple of seconds, because I didn't want to pop up and hit a ref. Yes, when we do those scrimmages, we have some refs. So, I was like, I didn't want to hit a ref. I, waited until they had an opportunity to know I was there. One of them got out of my way because when I went down, but I just went small. I didn't sprawl. So, yay. Yay. But, after Monday night, as I said, you've been sprawling and, you've been staggering when you get hit in scrimmaging and you need to work on that. And I was like, well, I never used to do that. I used to take some scrimmage hits and I never had any problem with it. And then I got home Monday night and I'm laying in the tub and I'm thinking about it. And then I brought it up to Ariel on Tuesday night and I said, I just realized something when I was in the tub after last night's practice. And she goes, what's that? And I said, I think the reason I've been getting staggered when I've been taking hits in scrimmaging is I'm getting hit a lot harder now. I said, it's like I'm getting the full on true bout hits. And she was just like, like that. She's like, yeah, you're getting the full hits now. Basically I'm at that point where it's like, you want to scrimmage with the big girls, you got to take the big girl hits. And that's what's been happening. So I'm having to learn how not to stagger and how to take those big hits like that. And, and some of them are pretty big. I'm trying to learn how to give them back. And I did get a couple of good hits in on Wednesday night. One of them, I just did the thing where you just stick your shoulder out, and I caught the jammer as she was flying by and put her down hard. It's a bad thing. It's happened to me though. And she was coming by and I was just got that shoulder out and clipped her. And that was it, she came at me again fast and I was standing there like that. I could just see the look on her eyes was sort of like she did not want to run into me. Fortunately, she got around me. My reaction was not quick enough. She juked around me before I could get a shoulder into her, which is what I was actually planning on doing, was trying to get a shoulder into her, and it would have wiped her out. That's the way we do shit. Nobody's going to show me any pity. If I'm coming at you hard, people are going to put me down. And they do. I got knocked out a lot when I was jamming. And when I got done, Thursday, Friday, I'm sitting there thinking about it. And it's like, if you want to be a pivot, you got to do a lot more jamming. You just can't go out there one time and then go, I'm done. You actually have to go out and jam. And then rest of a jam and then go back out again, not as a jammer, but as a blocker. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it's like, you got to work your way up. And really, since jamming is so much cardio, you'll get your endurance up real quick if you keep doing that shit. So yeah, I need to do that. I need to play more hats. Because it always seems like, even when we've got 8 people, it's the same 3 people jamming all the time, and they're working their asses off. So I may as well join the club and work my ass off too. It's one of the things I said, I need to push myself more, and this is one of the ways that you push yourself more, by doing shit that you're not comfortable with yet. But this is how you get comfortable. As one former jammer used to say, one of the ways you work on quick feet, on your quickness, is by actually going out there and doing it. And it's a skill, you develop it after a while. So, well, a couple hours, about an hour and a half, actually, I'll be packing all my shit up and going out and helping to clean a park. And then I have a bachelorette party this afternoon. That's going to be interesting because I have absolutely no idea what to expect. Never been to a bachelorette party. Oh, okay, here we go. New ground for me. So that's it. Take care. Have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.